I'm Mia, and I'm 55 years old, and in the antiseptic silence of a hospital ward. The IV drip serves as a continual reminder of the fight against cancer. The warmth I once had at home, which is now a faint recollection, contrasts sharply with the frigid touch of the blankets. It's been 15 years since I married George, a widower with a bright-eyed daughter named Mia. She immediately accepted me as her father's wife and as a spiritual mother when she was 10 years old, all pigtails and toothy smiles. She became the unexpected delight in a marriage that I believed would fill the pages of my life with love and companionship, the daughter I never had. George was a powerful businessman whose charm stemmed from his charisma and his seeming readiness to start a new life with me. However, time erodes facades, and his once kind forbearance was replaced by unrelenting demands. A second shift was waiting for me as I went home from my work as a financial analyst, which required accuracy and allowed for little margin for error. This was a test of my domestic attentiveness. In his opinion, I was destined to fail. I recall his high expectations and his meticulous examination of the dining table. He would hardly glance at the meticulously prepared food in front of him before asking, "Mia, is this the best you could do?" Each of his statements added to the others until I felt like I could hardly stand. Even when my body cried out for rest, I kept cooking, cleaning, and taking care of him. "Mia, you need to take care of yourself too. My parents, God bless them, would frequently advise me, but their counsel would be ignored. I was too enmeshed in the appeasement loop. My mobile phone pings during one of these quiet lunches, jolting me out of my reverie. Mia is here. Her voice is a comfort to my weary soul. "Mom, how are you holding up?" I attempt to sound more resilient than I actually am. "I'm persevering, my love. How are you?" I can tell she's carrying a burden too big for her young shoulders since she has been silent for far too long. "Mom, I worry about you." "He doesn't appear to care, Dad." Her remarks are shocking, but not shocking. The blips on the monitors next to me have been as loud as George's absence in these immaculate white walls. "I know it's okay, Mia, my darling." I say, "We have each other," in a tone that combines resolution and melancholy. After a little silence, her voice, which is full of calm strength, is heard. "We do, and I'm with you at every turn. Instead of worrying about Dad, focus on improving yourself." The anchor I didn't realize I needed is her certainty. We don't discuss George, the chilly meals, or the fact that his gaze no longer made me feel warm when she comes to visit. Rather, we discuss her work, the literature she reads, and the life she is creating. I'm proud of her fortitude and self-reliance, and I hold on to the memory that I had some influence on the amazing lady she has grown into. I close my eyes and lean back, remembering Mia's assurances. In some way, the hospital room feels less restrictive, as though her words had given its corners new life. I should not lose sight of the fact that I am not alone. My alarm clock is an unrelenting enemy as the day begins before the sun rises. My motions are as routine as the coffee maker that sputters to life in the kitchen when I get out of bed and put on the clothing I lay out the night before. George is still sleeping, and the only sign that life is happening is the rise and fall of his chest. The spreadsheets and statistics are a nice diversion. They just exist in their black and white cells, waiting for me to interpret them, without complaining or demanding anything. My coworkers, who are often chatting about office gossip and weekend plans, are a different story. Janet from accounting says, "Mia, you've got to come out with us one of these Fridays," as she peers into my cubicle. Though I can't recall the last time I had plans without George or a shopping list, I force a grin. "Thanks, Janet. Maybe next time." She pats my shoulder empathetically and then buzzes off to her next conversation. The routine resumes at home. When George comes in early from work, I'm cutting veggies for his favorite stew. I prepare myself for whichever version of him walks through the door since his mood fluctuates. He remarks, "Smells good," which seems like a minor triumph. The breath I've been holding is released. I reply in a level voice, "It should be ready in about an hour." With a grumble, he vanishes into the living room. I'm left alone in the kitchen with the potatoes and carrots while the TV comes to life. The simple, dependable sound of my knife hitting the chopping board soothes me. Later, we sit across from each other at the dining table, a chasm of unsaid words between us. He's scrolling through his phone, barely acknowledging the meal. "It's good," he mumbles after a few minutes, but there's a distance in his voice that's become all too familiar. I nod, my own phone lighting up with a text from Mia. "Thinking of you, Mom. Hope dinner went well." I type back a quick "love you" and slip the phone back into my pocket. George looks up, eyes narrowing. "Was that Maya?" "Yeah, just checking in," I say, trying to keep the conversation light. He nods, going back to his phone, and we finish dinner in silence. I clean up, the clinking of dishes filling the empty air. Tomorrow will be the same, the grind wearing away like waves on a cliffside, constant and relentless. But tonight, Mia's message is a lifeline, a reminder that not everything is as cold and unforgiving as this routine. There's warmth there, love, and it's enough to keep me going for one more day. The hospital room's constant beeps and murmurs are background noise as I'm lost in thought. It's during one of these quiet moments that Mia walks in, her face etched with worry. I can tell she's bearing a weight, the kind that's ready to topple over. She pulls a chair close to my bed, takes my hand, and sighs deeply. "Mom, there's something you should know," she begins, her voice a mix of anger and sorrow. I squeeze her hand, encouraging her to continue. "What is it, Maya?" "It's about Dad." She pauses, gathering her thoughts. He has someone else." The words hang heavily between us. I had felt the presence of someone in our lives, an invisible intruder, but hearing it confirmed sends a chill through me. He introduced her to me, Mom, Mia's voice cracks, as his future wife. The air feels thick, like I'm breathing through cotton. I try to absorb the shock, to maintain some sense of composure for Mia's sake, but inside I'm reeling. When the word comes out as a whisper, "Last week he told me he was serious about her," Mia replies, her eyes not leaving mine, a silent apology in her gaze. There's a long pause as I process this betrayal. "Thank you for telling me, sweetheart," I managed to say at last. "How long have you known?" "Just a few days," she admits. "I didn't want to upset you, but I thought it's better you hear it from me." The dull hum of the hospital seems to fade into silence. I'm grateful for her honesty, yet the pain is sharp, unyielding. I nod, feeling an odd sense of calm amidst the turmoil. "We'll deal with this," I say, more to convince myself than to reassure her. Mia leans forward, resting her forehead against our clasped hands. "I'm here for you, Mom, whatever you need." I draw a deep breath. My mind is already turning. My husband's betrayal is a deep cut, but I won't let it be the end of my story. There's a plan forming, a way out of the mess he's made. And in this sterile hospital room, with my stepdaughter by my side, I feel the first stirrings of a future where I am no longer in the shadows of a loveless marriage. I will rise from this with a cunning that's been honed by years of quiet observation. George may have underestimated me, but he'll soon learn that's his mistake. I look at Mia, her strength becoming my own. "Let's start planning," I say, and there's a new determination in my voice. Our bond, unbroken by the lies that surround us, is the foundation we'll build upon. And as Mia smiles, a small, fierce smile, I know we'll win this battle together. The next day, Mia arrives with her laptop tucked under her arm and a look in her eyes that says she means business. She pulls up a chair next to my hospital bed, opens her laptop, and looks straight at me. "Okay, Mom, let's talk strategy," she says with a determined nod. I can't help but smile at her spirit. I've been thinking about that, I admit. I want to be fair, but also I want to protect myself and my future, and yours. Mia nods, her fingers poised over the keyboard. First things first, we should get a lawyer, someone who can help us navigate the divorce smoothly. I agree. Yes, a lawyer, and we'll need to gather all the financial documents. I've got most of them at home in the safe. We can go through them together. Mia offers, "What about the house and the rest of the assets?" I've been doing some math. I start feeling the edge of the bed with my fingers. The house, I think. I'll let him have it. Mia frowns, surprised. Really? Are you sure? I nod firmly. I want a fresh start somewhere new without the memories. Plus, I've got something he doesn't know about. Her eyebrows raise in curiosity. What's that? The investment account, I say. The one my father helped me set up. It's in his name technically, but it's mine. There's quite a bit of money there, enough for a new place and a comfortable life. Mia's eyes widen. He doesn't know about that. No, and he won't. That money was from before we married. It's separate, and I want to keep it that way. Mia types away, probably making notes. Got it. We keep that account quiet. We should also think about alimony or any spousal support. I shake my head. I don't want his money, but I won't say no if it's offered. It could be useful. Okay, Mia says, and after the legal stuff is sorted, that's when I start my new life, I say, looking out the window. I want to travel, see places I've always dreamed of, when I'm well, of course. Mia reaches out and squeezes my hand. You'll get well, Mom, and I'll be right there with you wherever you go. I squeeze back, feeling a surge of gratitude for this girl. No, this woman, who's been my rock. We're in this together, I tell her, and it's more than just about the plan. It's about us, our journey ahead, and the unspoken understanding that we're a team now. The afternoon sun casts long shadows across my bed as we continue to plot, not just for the end of my marriage, but for the beginning of something new. Just the two of us, ready to face whatever comes next. A few days had passed since Mia and I had put together a plan. Lying on my hospital bed, I felt a mixture of anticipation and anxiety about setting our plan into motion. Mia walked into the room, her face flushed from the cold outside. "All right, it's time," she said, sitting down beside me. "Are you sure you're up for this, Mom?" I nodded. The IV in my arm was a stark reminder of my current weakness, but my resolve was strong. "I'm sure. It's now or never." Mia took out her phone, her thumb hovering over the screen. "I'm about to text Dad. I'll tell him that you want to discuss the divorce and that you're willing to talk settlement. That'll get his attention." I murmured, the bitterness in my voice binding my calm exterior. Mia sent the text, and we waited. It didn't take long for her phone to buzz. She read the message and looked up at me. "He's biting. Wants to come over tomorrow to talk terms." I couldn't help the wry chuckle that escaped my lips. "Talk terms, huh? All right, when he comes, let him believe he's in control. That's the bait." Mia frowned slightly, her concern for me clear. "And you're okay with this? With him coming here and acting like he's won?" I reached for her hand, my grip firmer than it had been in days. "It's just an act, Mia. Remember that. We're letting him think he's won because it's the only way to get what we need from him." Mia squeezed my hand back, her own determination returning to her eyes. "Okay, Mom, I trust you." And I added, make sure he sees the safe when he comes. It's empty, but he doesn't know that. If he thinks there's something valuable in there, it'll keep him focused on the wrong thing." She nodded, making a mental note. "Got it. And after he leaves, we proceed with the divorce as planned. But remember, whatever happens, don't let on about the money. That's our ace." Mia stood up, her phone in her pocket. "I won't. We'll get through this, just like you said, together." As she walked out, I lay back against my pillow, closing my eyes. This was just the beginning, but I had to believe that it would lead to an end. Our end. One where Mia and I could move forward free from the shadows of deceit that had loomed over us for far too long. The morning light crept through the blinds, casting lines across the hospital room floor. I had barely slept, thoughts whirling about the upcoming confrontation. I tried to steady my breathing, the rhythmic beeping of the monitor beside my bed a constant reminder of my situation. There was a knock on the door, and Mia peeked in, her face serious. "He's here, Mom." I nodded, sitting up a little straighter. "Let him in." Mia opened the door, and in walked George, my soon-to-be ex-husband. He had a smirk on his face that made my stomach turn, but I kept my expression neutral. "Hello, George," I said, my voice steady. "Didn't expect to see you looking so alive," he sneered, taking a seat without being offered one. "So what's this about a settlement?" I took a deep breath. I want to keep things simple. No dragging this out. You can have the house. His smirk widened. "That's generous of you. What's the catch?" "No catch," I replied, meeting his gaze. "I just want to end this cleanly." "I'm tired, George. I don't have the energy for a fight." Mia watched, her face a mask of control. George's eyes flicked to her and then to the safe in the corner of the room. "I suppose you'll be wanting support then," he asked, a greedy glint in his eyes. I shook my head slightly. "No, I don't want your money. I'll manage on my own." He leaned back, looking suspicious. "What's your game here? You're giving up everything. What are you hiding?" "Nothing to hide," I said, allowing a hint of fatigue to seep into my voice. "I just want peace, George, and I think you do too." He snorted. "Yeah, peace with a young, beautiful woman waiting for me." Mia's hand clenched into a fist, but she didn't speak. "I hope she makes you happy," I said quietly. George stood up, looking around the room once more. "Fine. I'll have my lawyer call yours. We'll get this over with." As he reached the door, he paused and looked back at me. "You're a fool, you know that. Letting go of everything without a fight." I met his gaze, my own eyes clear. "Maybe, but sometimes letting go is the only way to move forward." George shook his head and left, the door closing with a soft click behind him. Mia rushed to my side. "Are you okay, Mom?" I nodded, feeling a weight lifting off my shoulders. "I'm fine, it's done. Now we just have to follow through." Mia hugged me, her presence a comfort. "You're the bravest person I know." I hugged her back, allowing myself this moment of warmth. Brave, maybe. But I'm not in this alone, am I? "No, Mom," Mia whispered. "Not alone. Never alone." The ink on the divorce papers wasn't even dry when Mia dropped the bomb about the money. She was hesitant at first, biting her lip in that way she does when she's nervous, but I urged her on, knowing that whatever came next was just another scene in this absurd play my life had become. "Dad knows about the $3 million, Mom," Mia said, her voice barely above a whisper. I sighed, not surprised. I expected as much. "What's his play?" It didn't take long for him to make his move. The next day, he was at my hospital room door, his eyes wide with a mix of greed and desperation. He knelt by my bed, taking my hand in his. "I've been a fool," he started, his voice trembling with faint emotion. Please, let's put all this behind us and start over. I looked at him, really looked at him, and I felt nothing. It was liberating. I couldn't help but laugh, a genuine deep laugh that I hadn't felt in years. Start over, I said, pulling my hand away. There's nothing to start, George. It's done. His face turned an ugly shade of red, the mask slipping. You think you can mock me? He hissed. I'll take you to court. I'll take every penny of that money. That money, I said calmly, almost enjoying this, is safely out of your reach. It's in my father's name. There's not a thing you can do about it. His eyes bulged and he spluttered, his anger a living thing between us. But before he could form words, security was at the door, alerted by the commotion. They didn't even need to speak. Their presence was enough. George's outburst was his final act, his curtain call as they escorted him out. His shouts echoed down the hall, a pitiful sound that faded with each step. A calmness descended upon me as I reclined against my pillows. After standing at the door with a worried and angry expression on her face, Mia finally exhaled deeply. Are you okay, Mom? With a smile on my lips, I grabbed for her hand. Now, my love, I am. It's really over. For a while, we sat in quiet as the burden of the past began to fade and make way for something better and fresh. And I felt prepared to take on a new day as the door shut behind the final relic of my former existence. I was prepared to write my own tale since it was a fresh start. For George, life after cancer was like emerging from a long, dark tunnel into the light. I purchased a home with a large garden that seemed like ours, and that Mia could come to whenever she pleased. Ours, really. Mia and I were enjoying some lemonade on the patio one day as we watched the sun set behind the trees. She had been making the place a home by assisting me with unpacking boxes. Here, her laughing was commonplace, reverberating off the walls and occupying areas that had seen far too much quiet. Mia looked around the yard and added, You know, Mom, I've never seen you this relaxed. I grinned when the sun's warmth touched my face. There are many things for which I am grateful. I have you, I'm free of George, and I defeated cancer. She gave my hand a squeeze. I'm simply happy that you're prioritizing yourself at last. Even when I wasn't your duty, you always looked out for me. I gave a headshake. Mia, you were my duty at all times. That's when I made the decision to become your mother. My family was you. Mia smiled at me, tears welling up in her eyes. I'm relieved he's no longer in our life. I've always disapproved of the way he handled you, and his drama is over now. The sky was a tapestry of oranges and purples when the sun was almost gone. I felt more alive than I had in years as I got to my feet. Let's enter. I'll prepare our favorite meal, spaghetti and meatballs. She sprang to her feet and followed me into the kitchen. Rolling up her sleeves, she said, Can I help? You certainly can. To begin, roll the meatballs. After years of cooking side by side, we had mastered the dance of moving around the kitchen together. I felt a wave of satisfaction as I saw her hands, which resembled mine so much, forming the meatballs. I believed that this was the feeling of true family. No harsh language, no expectations, and no disappointments were present. Mia and I alone, with a future we could mold into anything we desired. The kitchen was filled with the aromas of our combined cooking and laughing, and I knew in my heart that this was what pleasure was all about. It was because to my kid that I was finally living after years of only existing.